Hey guys, Remo here from Back to Warcraft. We have finally arrived in Shanghai, and it's one day before WGL kicks off. And our very first interviewee of this tournament is the infamous Hitman from North America. Such a pleasure to finally meet you, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
for being here.
It's my pleasure, man.
Yeah, so first things first. It's your first time in China as far as I'm aware. How was your flight? How has it been so far getting here and everything?
The flight took forever. It was like a 24-hour trip. The flying part took like 15, 16 hours total, and then with the layovers and stuff, it was like 24 hours. But yeah, I'm pretty tired, but like I'm managing. Yeah, okay. After a few more days, the jet lag will probably fix itself.
Okay, so this is your first time in China, but it's not your first time at an actual offline event. You've been to Germany before for StarCraft 2, actually, back then. What is it like for you playing away from home, and do you think you will be able to play your best here in this setting?
I feel like in a tournament setting, it's definitely harder to play at your best, but I've been practicing a lot today, and I feel pretty good about how I've been playing. So hopefully I play as well as I am doing right now, like when I'm on the main stage. But considering this is only my second LAN tournament, it's going to be hard to get past the nerves and everything, especially since I'm playing literally the best players in the world. Mm-hmm. But yeah, hopefully I do my best.
Since you mentioned your nerves in the previous interview on War 3 Info, you addressed the nerve issues from the past. Have you tried to take any steps to deal with that issue?
I feel like it's just something that you have to deal with like once you're up there. I feel like I don't feel very nervous right now, so I think that's going to continue on to when the tournament actually starts. But yeah, I think it's just like an experience sort of thing.
Okay. You're the only representative of the Americas here at WGL. You're the only invited player. Do you feel that puts pressure on you representing this whole big scene?
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of people who want to see me do well, myself included. But I feel like I'm definitely just doing this to see how well I can do. I don't really pay attention to all the expectations and everything. It's sort of like just trying to test myself to see how well I can do in a competitive environment. So it's just pretty exciting in general, yeah.
So it sounds like you're viewing this a lot like a growing and learning experience. Is that somewhat accurate?
Yeah, sort of. It's definitely like really exciting because it's my first tournament, like big tournament in Warcraft 3, and having it be WGL, literally like the biggest tournament of the game for the year, is pretty exciting. So yeah, I've been practicing a lot, and hopefully I can replicate how well I've been doing in practice.
All right, so I'm satisfied to hear that you've been pretty satisfied with your own practice. What would you say, what do you consider to be your strengths and weaknesses in-game?
I feel like I definitely try to refine a lot of builds. So I feel like I'm kind of predictable in the sense that I'll always try to do the same thing, but it's always, I guess, the technically correct thing to do. So even if my opponents know what I'm doing, it's still difficult to like counter it, I guess. But so yeah, I guess I'm like a really patterned player, but yeah, I study a lot of like Lin and focus replays, so I definitely don't do things that are like predictable in a bad way, sort of like predictable in a good way. But yeah, I guess that's like a strength and weakness. But in terms of like matchup wise, I feel like I'm definitely pretty weak against humans and elves in general.
Okay.
But yeah, there's 2 humans in my group. Hopefully I can get past those 2. And obviously Lin and 120 are going to be really tough. But I'm feeling okay. I don't think it's like an insurmountable task to beat any of those players at all.
So you said that you're somewhat predictable and you try to refine and perfect, and that's usually the way that most Warcraft players play. There are some innovators in there as well and who go off the wall crazy sometimes, like Moon, like TH, but normally, for the most part, you stick kind of to the meta at least. From what I understand, that's pretty different from your StarCraft 2 days back then, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
You yourself said that basically people should expect cheese from you. So how did that philosophy, that approach to this professional game change? Of course, it's a very different game. Was it just the game that showed you that playing differently, playing more standard is the better way to go for Warcraft specifically, or is that just an outlook, a philosophy that changed within you?
I think it's a bit of both. Warcraft 3 is definitely a game where it's harder to pull out some crazy build and cheese your opponent. But yeah, I was definitely a cheeser for like the longest time, and that's all I really did. But I don't think a lot of people knew at the tail end of my StarCraft 2 career, I guess. I definitely learned how to play like straight up games as well. So it wasn't like a complete 180 from StarCraft to Warcraft. I did learn how to play the game straight up, even if a lot of people think otherwise.
You can prove them wrong in this tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
So, speaking of this tournament, you are in a pretty tough group. You have briefly mentioned before what you consider your matchups and stuff to be like your strengths and your weaknesses. If you had to put a number on it, what's the chances for you, percentage-wise, to get out of the groups?
Realistically, I'd say like 20%.
20%.
Yeah. Is that higher or lower than you think?
I'm absolutely impartial and unbiased, so I have no view on the matter and absolutely no bets involved.
I think it's like it's the sort of deal where if I play my best, I can definitely do it. It's just a matter of how well I perform. Because I've definitely taken games off these guys all the time on ladder. So I'm just gonna have to see how well I play.
Okay. Some of the Korean players told me that they find your online ladder behavior bad-mannered and sometimes bothersome.
The Koreans?
How do you respond to that?
Who? I need names.
Can't reveal my sources.
I honestly don't think I'm that bad-mannered. I don't think I've ever bad-mannered Asian players at all, except for the ones that have gone ahead and talked crap to me in the first place.
I have heard that you have used offensive GGs quite excessively, for example, in the past.
Only against players who have done that to me first, honestly. I really have nothing against any of the Asian players.
Okay. All right, so you would say that view is unfounded?
Yes, certainly if it's coming from an Asian player standpoint. If it's a European player saying that, I definitely understand that point of view more.
Okay. How is that? Do you just respect the Asian players way more so you try to be extra nice?
Well, I'm definitely a fan of a lot of the better players, and plus like none of them even speak English that well. So like I wouldn't even care to try to trash talk them in the first place because there's like a language difference. But I think it's just more fun to have banter with like the European players and the Asian players in general.
So, which ones of the Europeans do you shit talk the most with?
I've kind of toned it down a little bit recently. I mean, I can't really name names. I mean, if someone
You want me to name names?
If I don't like someone, I'll let them know. That's how it is, really.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We're back here with part 2, and we go right into the next question. What is the goal you have set for yourself for this whole tournament?
I don't really mind how I do results-wise because I think realistically nobody expects me to do well at all. So I think I just want to perform to the best of my ability. If I play as well as I can, but I still don't make it out of my group, I think I'd still be satisfied with that. But if I like bomb out of the groups and don't play like how I usually do on ladder, I'd probably be kind of disappointed. But yeah, so if I do play well, then not making it out of my groups wouldn't be too big of a disappointment for me.
Do you expect to grow as a player here just from this experience, even if you don't do that well in the groups?
I guess it's a good experience. I mean, in the tournament itself, it's only going to be like 10, 15 games that I'm playing total. I don't think I'm going to become that much better of a player just from playing on LAN. But I think it's a good test to see where I stand among the best players.
All right. Yeah, we basically covered that one already. So From what I gather, you're also a big fan of video games outside of Warcraft 3. You've mentioned before that, for example, Cyberpunk you're looking forward to. So tell me your top 3 favorite games of all time.
Honestly, I play games like religiously. Like I'll pick one and then just stick with it forever. So I don't really play a huge variety of games, but I definitely put Warcraft 3 as number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 would be Dota 2 / Dota 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to quit that because it just made me miserable. It was not a fun time. I mean, it was fun, but it was not fun at the same time.
Dude, if you have the same third game as I do, I'm gonna give you a high five.
It's probably not gonna be the same one. It's probably a tie between StarCraft 2 and Modern Warfare 2.
Okay, no. But we're 2 out of 3. All right.
Oh, wait. Actually, Guitar Hero 3 is the third game. Definitely.
Yeah, that's Neos. I don't dabble in that stuff. As you have stated before, NA is, of course, a very strong region.
Yeah, who doesn't know that?
So when do you expect to see the first NA player in a WGL final, and who is it going to be?
Tomorrow. Me. Obviously.
The final is not tomorrow, though.
All right, 5 days.
5 days?
Me.
Okay. There's nobody else even close to your level in NA?
Hey, there's a lot of good players in North America. I don't even know if I could begin to name them all. I'm probably not even among the top 5. I mean, there's people like Shade. Oh my God. I learned everything from that guy. His replay analysis will change your life.
Damn.
Let's see. There's so many good players.
There's so many. I know.
Tough.
It's always tough when you try to recall them.
Yeah.
I know it.
I mean, oh my God.
Pretty rough one.
I think besides Shade, there's I mean, on a more serious note, Cruncher is actually a really good player. He's like a human player in the US.
I know.
I practice with him a lot. But yeah,
he has to come to the WoW Classic.
Yeah, among a lot of other players. But yeah, I definitely big shout out to Shade.
Yeah.
I learned everything from that guy.
All right. Great. It was fun to have you here. Looking forward to see your games and to see you in the grand final.
Yeah,
of course. Hitman, best of luck to you in the tournament. There we go, guys. Hitman, you heard from the man himself. Tomorrow, the action kicks off here at WGL in Shanghai. So tune into our Twitch, follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everything for all the coverage, and see you then.